What's up guys, we're here in Split, Croatia. In this video we're going to show you the best things to do in and around the city. So hope you enjoy it. Split is located in western Croatia along the Dalmatian coast. As Croatia's second largest city, it's always buzzing with life, and has been for thousands of years. Split was put on the map by Emperor Diocletian, who had his palace built there between 295 and 305. After his death, the palace was continuously used throughout history by different civilizations, like the Romans, Byzantines, and Venetians. Today, life continues between the old city walls, and is one of the reasons why travelers visit. But Split's unique setting between the dramatic coastal mountains and the turquoise waters of the Adriatic Sea also make it an ideal vacation hub. In this video, we'll highlight 10 amazing things to do in and around Split. So let's dive in. We are Zach and Ina. We make helpful videos about destinations around the world so you can easily plan your own adventures. The lively waterfront promenade, known as the Riva, is the best central reference point in Split. Lined with cafes and restaurants, it's a great place to eat and drink, or just stroll around and breathe in the atmosphere. It can get busy sometimes because of the immense cruise ships that dock here almost on a daily basis. Diocletian's palace is one of the most impressive ancient Roman monuments in existence today, and you'll likely spend most of your time in Split here. Located in front of the harbor, it's the beating heart of the city, and you'll find plenty of bars, restaurants, and shops inside its walls. In fact, there are over 200 buildings within the palace boundaries. And even though the original structure has been added to and altered continuously over millennia, it's absolutely fascinating to walk through its narrow streets. Access this imposing structure from one of its 4 historic gates. Located inside the palace, Split's Cathedral is one of the best preserved ancient Roman buildings still standing. It was originally built as a mausoleum to Diocletian. However, in the 5th century, the Christians destroyed the emperor's sarcophagus and converted his tomb into a church dedicated to one of his victims. You can buy a ticket that combines a visit to the cathedral with the bell tower, which offers a panoramic view of the city. It also includes the treasury, where you can find preserved sculptures and paintings that relate to the cathedral's history, as well as the Temple of Jupiter, which is an ancient Roman temple that has been converted into the cathedral's baptistry.
So we're inside the Temple of Jupiter, and there's actually a lot of cool decorations here, and you can also see these facial expressions actually in the ceiling here, and it's really beautiful, like there's a lot of them.
To the west of Split looms Marjan Forest Park, a nature reserve with a wealth of walking trails. The most popular one passes shortly through a pine forest before reaching a scenic lookout of Split and the surrounding islands. It's a great place to watch the sunset from. But if you need a true escape from the city, you can also continue through the park to other viewpoints and even a beach. The park is big enough that you could spend an entire afternoon here if you want. We put a graphic on the screen here for how to get from Riva Promenade to the main viewpoint on Marjan Hill if you want to do that for sunset. Split is more than just a palace, and you'll find fascinating buildings and monuments all around its downtown area. Get lost in its narrow streets, go shopping, or try some local cuisine. But the best way to learn about this fascinating city is to go on a guided walking tour. Not only will you visit Split's main highlights, but also become familiar with the culture and the way of life here. Find a link to a guided tour of Split and Diocletian's palace in the description below. One of Croatia's absolute highlights is only an hour drive from Split. Krka National Park extends along the 73-kilometer or 50-mile Krka River, which runs through a karstic canyon. It's a breathtaking area, filled with waterfalls and gorges that you can explore on foot via boardwalks and trails. The park actually has 5 main entrances, which are all accessible by car, but located far from one another. Skradinski Buk is the highlight of the park, where you can take a beautiful walk along the emerald green river and end at the park's most impressive waterfall. But Roški Slap, Bornum, and Monjošlavac are also worth a visit. If you don't have a car, you can also book a day tour here, and we left a link for that in the description. Located 12 kilometers, or 7.4 miles to the northeast of downtown Split, you can find the impressive Klis Fortress. This fort offers beautiful views of the surrounding valley and the Adriatic Sea. Inside, you can explore the various fortifications and visit a small museum with details of the castle's past. If you're a Game of Thrones fan, you'll also recognize the Klis Fortress as Meereen, which appeared in season 4 and 5. There's a room inside the fort with pictures to freshen up your memory. And alternatively, you can also visit the Game of Thrones Museum in the city center of Split. Croatia has hundreds of islands dotting its coastline, and those near Split are some of the most pristine on the entire Dalmatian coast. Because of their close proximity to the mainland, some islands can be discovered on an island hopping tour from Split. We joined the 5-island tour, during which we snorkeled and swam in the pristine waters of the Blue Lagoon, visited charming villages on the islands of Vis and Far, and explored the dazzling Blue Cave. We cruised on a speedboat, allowing for a smaller group and more intimate experience. So we made it to the Blue Lagoon here. We're about to go take a quick swim. We thought this is a good time to mention the sponsor of today's video. Get Your Guide is a platform where you can book unforgettable travel experiences. They actually offer 60,000 different experiences from destinations all around the world. And one of the cool things is that the guides are always locals, so they have a lot of different knowledge about the history of the area and just some local insights for you. In our opinion, Get Your Guide is really the best platform right now to pre-book your travel activities because the app is super easy to use and you can have your ticket right on your phone. You don't have to print anything out. And there's 24/7 support. There's free cancellation 24 hours in advance if you need to. And there's also sometimes skip the line options. So we highly recommend Get Your Guide. There's a link to the tour that we did today in the description below, along with a special discount code. And there's links to all the other tours that are in the Split area. So I hope you enjoy it. If you're looking for a more relaxed atmosphere, but equally beautiful medieval walls, then you should add Trogir to your Split itinerary. Located only 30 kilometers from the city center of Split, the old town of Trogir is set on a tiny island linked by bridges to the mainland, as well as the neighboring larger island. Within its walls, you can find many beautiful buildings that were built between the 12th and 15th century. Walk its narrow alleyways and the beautiful boulevard that's lined with cafes, restaurants, and yachts. Last but not least, we have the world-famous Plitvice Lakes. Known for its large network of karstic emerald lakes and stunning waterfalls, this park is a must-visit when in Croatia and is protected by UNESCO for a good reason. You can visit the park as a day trip from Split, and we left a link for that tour in the description. However, it's definitely easier to visit this magical place from the closer city of Zadar, which is where we did it from. Check out our Zadar video to get the full details about Plitvice lakes. If you're planning your Croatia trip, we recommend keeping things organized with our interactive travel planner. Find a discount code below. We also included important links that you'll need for your Split trip in the description, such as a full travel guide with where to stay and where to eat. We'll catch you on the next adventure.